What's up, guys? Before we get into this video, I just wanted to give a very special thank you to Leah for collaborating with us for this Barca Talk episode. Honestly, this was our first time ever collaborating with anyone and also using Zoom. So we were still noobs to these things and we didn't really know much about how Zoom worked. There's a time limit and everything, but we're going to learn through time and hopefully figure something out for the future. But unfortunately, there was a time limit to how long we could record it through Zoom, but we honestly wanted to talk a lot more. We had a lot of other things planned to talk about, but unfortunately we couldn't. But hopefully down the line we will be able to make more videos with each other and talk about the best club in the world, Barcelona. But again, just a special thank you to Leah for collaborating with us for this episode. For those who don't know her, she talks a lot about Barcelona. She knows her stuff when it comes to Barcelona. She loves the club like we do. So you guys, I'm put everything, all her socials down in the description below for you guys to check her out. I'm sure if you know Barcelona, you would know who she is. But she's very knowledgeable when it comes to Barcelona. Again, she loves the club, and we were happy to collaborate with her for this week's Barca Talk. So again, make sure to check her out, and everything's going to be down below. And again, thank you, Lilia. Thank you for joining us for this week's episode, and much love, and enjoy the episode. All right, cool. All right. What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Barca Talk, episode 7, if I'm not mistaken. I lose track sometimes. But today we have a very, very special guest. Someone that knows a lot about Barcelona, someone that has a lot of Barca knowledge. She loves Barcelona, and she's here ready to talk about Barcelona today, especially after this amazing week that we've had this week. So I'm excited to talk and have a little conversation about the best team in the world, the best team of all time, the best team that touches the page, especially this season. Real Madrid, cry. Carlos is okay. So yeah, let's get right into it. Let's introduce her, and her name is Leah. How you doing, Leah?
I'm good. What about you?
Amazing. I'm amazing today. Today was a spectacular Saturday afternoon. So yeah, this win was honestly amazing. This was definitely a week that we were expecting to be a hard week, but we got through it with flying colors.
Yeah, I feel like Barcelona walked into both games this week like as the underdogs because even with Barcelona's win against Bayern, many were saying they were going to lose against Real Madrid, which
Yeah,
I get because it was at the Bernabeu and like Real Madrid with the comebacks have been really good as of lately.
100%.
So, but I'm just so proud of this team.
Yeah, 100% proud. Carlos, as a Madrista, how do you feel?
I'll give it to you guys. Yes,
Give it to
definitely.
us.
Even in my opinion, you guys were definitely the underdogs, just because it's extremely tough week in general. You
Of
can't play
course.
Bayern and Classico in the same week. That's a tough toll on everybody, honestly.
Yeah.
But you guys came out on top.
hmm
I would say I'm a little bit surprised score wise. I want to say like play wise, you not really much in doubt. But like the scores that you guys have been putting up, I'll give you guys that. I would not expect that.
Me either.
Especially
Me either. Me either. Yeah, so this week was definitely our first major test for this week of how we've been playing so far under Flick and how the season's been going for us. But I think before we get into a Classico, let's get into Bayern Munich. Bayern
Oh,
Munich came to the Munich Stadium where we destroyed them 4-1. Leah, what were your thoughts before that game? Were you confident?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. The record against Bayern wasn't great. And like even though I know Barcelona we're playing well, it's just the fact that I know every single time they go against Bayern, it's just a mentality thing at this point. I
Yeah.
feel like the like even if they play good football, like they did one time under Xavi, I forgot what year that was. I think it may have been 2022. They played really well, but they still ended up losing because it's like
Exactly.
mentality wise, they just crumble. And it feels like a weight has been lifted, with the win against Bayern because it's been like
definitely.
that since 2020.
Definitely, definitely. Well, for me, for the past like Barca talks we've done, like before the last one we've done, I've been saying for weeks, like even like on the streams that we've done, that I was very confident going into this game that we were going to beat Bayern. Not only because of the way we're playing, it's just that Bayern are just not the same Bayern that they've been the last couple of years. They have a inexperienced manager with company, so I was very confident going into this game, especially if we were home too.
Yeah, I feel like that's fair. I feel like For me, though, it's not even the fact that I wasn't confident in Barcelona. I just know that they're prone to making individual mistakes. We saw that last season. We saw that this season against Monaco. So I
Yeah.
was like, I don't want the hope to kill me like it did last season because we were so close to the semifinals last season. I just didn't want to go through that again.
Yeah, yeah. Last season was definitely a heartbreaker after PSG's game. What do you think? We would have won that if Araujo didn't get that red card?
Yeah, but at the same time, like I feel like it's easy to fault the person that got the red card, but at the end of the day, like if you look at the whole situation, I can't blame Araujo at that moment for like just thinking irrationally and trying to stop, Barcola from scoring because
Hmm.
he's just trying to save the mistake that somebody made passing to him, misplacing the pass, I should say.
Yeah, yeah. In those moments, you have to make a split decision, and unfortunately, he made the wrong one at that time. But from there, we just got to move on and learn from our mistakes. And
Yeah.
so far, did here's the great question: Did you like Xavi? Did you like Xavi as a manager?
I did. I feel like I always believe things happen for a reason, and I feel like Xavi came at the right time, and now Hansi Flick came to Barca at the right time. They have
Mm.
similar ideas of having like possessional play, but the way they go about it is very different. Where Xavi is more like strict where the players are in terms of positioning, and Flick gives them more freedom. And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't think Xavi's a bad manager. I think he needs time. He had moments of brilliance. Like
Yeah.
the biggest one I feel like in the Super Cup final in 2023 against Real Madrid, that was the best I saw Barcelona play in a very long time. But
Uh-huh.
obviously his lack of tactics, like he became way too predictable, and that happens when you have a lack of experience.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, Xavi, of course, Barcelona was his first like real main job as a manager, especially his first team in coaching in Europe. So basically, he definitely had it hard because coaching Barcelona is never easy. It's definitely one of the hardest jobs in the world. So, but again, everything he's done for us so far definitely send the foundation for what we have right now with Hansi Flick for sure.
Yeah, that's like the way I like to look at it. Like Xavi set the foundation, Flick is building on it and like elevating it further.
Yeah, 100%. I just hope one day, I just hope he gets experience somewhere else and then just comes back with us and wins us everything that we need to win because he 100% deserved it. The way he left was kind of sad and unfortunate, but I think we can understand a bit why that happened. Kind of, because I don't know,
Yeah.
because it was kind of shady the way he left and everything, but I guess we're happy
They
so far with what Flick is doing.
they should have just let him leave the way he wanted, but I do hope for like a redemption arc for him, like as a manager at
Hmm.
That would
Barcelona.
be amazing.
That
Yeah,
would be
but like
amazing.
mentality wise, like I mentally, like he seemed like he aged 5 years being Barca's manager.
Oh,
Like, and
yeah,
that happens to every single coach that becomes Barca's manager because
yeah,
the media, when you start doing well, they're so happy, but the minute you start doing bad, they're on you. And I just felt
yeah,
so bad for Xavi
I
at
think
that point.
at the end of the day, for him being the elite player that he was for Barca, that just set him up in a sense for like failure as a coach. Because now everyone's
mm,
thinking, yo, this is Xavi. This is the person we used to literally die for every day, screaming. And then he does his season, which I'll give him that. It was a decent, like for being his first time, I'll give it as a decent way to start. But the fans, the media, they just went too hard for him. And I
they
It's
think
killed him
that
just
last
that
year.
just killed him
They killed him.
completely.
they expected a Pep situation, but like the reason why Pep is considered one of the best managers out there is because he's so rare. Like you rarely see a manager winning a sextuple their first season. In fact, only two managers have won a sextuple ever, and that's Pep and Flick.
Yes,
So like
yes.
I think you just can't put that kind of pressure on any new manager because Pep is just a very unique situation.
Yeah, 100% agree. But I guess moving on from Xavi, one of the we love Xavi. We will always appreciate Xavi, but now we're under Hansi Flick, and so far when he's coming through the season, um, I think the main doubt for me for from Flick was the fact that he didn't really I guess know La Masia or know like the youth talent that I guess Xavi could have or any other manager that was probably in the youth team. Some probably couldn't know of because we use a lot of our academy players. We like to play a certain way, but since Flick has come in, we played completely different than when we played under Xavi and Flick is very like understanding La Masia very well because there's players have emerged that I'm surprised that Xavi never used honestly.
Yeah, I feel like many people specifically in regards to Casado, because Casado had minutes under Xavi, but it seemed like Xavi didn't trust him 100%. But I feel like people need to realize just because Casado is performing now doesn't mean the same thing would have applied last season.
Yeah.
Some players, it's like a season by season basis, and maybe he was ready, but I don't think he would have suited Xavi's style of play where there's a difference in intensity and a difference of like freedom that you get like
Hmm.
wherever you play.
Yeah. What do you think about obviously he's out injured, but Mike Bernal?
Oh, incredible. So good. He reminds me of like
Hmm.
Busquets and Rodri, a combination of them both.
Hmm.
And he's just so calm under pressure. Like in the beginning of the season, I think it was the Athletic Club Bilbao game, they were literally on top of him. And it's as if like he was like the only one on the field, like the way he was playing. Like it's in general with all the La Masia youngsters, all the players that came from La Masia, they play with such confidence. You would think that they're veteran players. It's
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah, La Masia is for sure the best academy in the world. They just build those young players up to one day play for Barcelona. And how many players have come through La Masia and done it for Barcelona, especially this season that we're seeing. A lot of our players are from La Masia, and honestly, it's amazing to see. I'm like it's like very surprising that Pedri isn't one of them because he's like perfectly fit for Barcelona. Like he's shown it for years now.
Yeah, I think somebody actually commented this on one of my videos or like in a live that I did that not Messi, sorry, Pedri, it's been a long day clearly. Pedri is the most not sorry. Pedri is the most La Masia something about Pedri is a non-La Masia talent, but he's the most La Masia player, if that makes
Oh,
sense.
okay, yeah, yeah, that makes sense. That
You
makes
know where
sense.
I'm coming from? Something
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
exactly. That's exactly how it is. But yeah. So far this season we're 8-1, or now 9-1. But before the Classico we were 8-1 in the league. In the
Yeah.
Champions League we were 2-1. The only loss we had again was against Monaco, and obviously this was our major week. So again, you said you were kind of iffy with Bayern. You had some confidence, but you had a little bit of doubts because of individual mistakes.
To be fair, I woke up that morning and I was like, I have a good feeling about today. The same thing happened for El Clasico this morning. Was like, I have a good feeling. So I'm
Yeah.
like, maybe I should trust my gut more because I'm like getting nervous for no reason, I guess.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you because I was going through like Twitter like crazy and I was just seeing that how the fans were outside of the stadium, how they were like basically ready to cheer on the team, and that just gave me even more confidence. Like our fans are
Yeah.
amazing. I love
Yeah.
like the chants and everything that they do. But
Yeah.
yeah, so against Bayern, obviously we won 4-1, a hat trick from Rafinha and one goal from Lewandowski. So, were you expecting this kind of win, a 4-1 win?
You know what? I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't. I was, if Barcelona won, I thought maybe it'd be more like a 2-1 kind of situation.
Hmm.
Maybe with Bayern's defense, maybe I should have thought like maybe the win would have been the way it was. But it's just like, I don't know. I think I was second guessing myself with the way Barcelona have been in the past against Bayern. They did not win against them until like since 2015 at that point. So
Yeah. 10
it's
years.
just, it's just that aspect of it. But I think at the same time, when you have an informed Lewandowski, an informed Rafinha, and an informed Lamine Yamal, who's only 17 years old and playing the way he is, I think that is the difference maker right there.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So obviously going into that game, I can definitely admit I'm pretty sure we were all surprised that we scored so early into the game. Like literally, like, even before a minute in, we scored from a little good counter attack, and Rafinha just 1-on-1 goes around the keeper, squares it in. But then from there, I think we can admit that we were definitely struggling after that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. They made me nervous. I was like,
Yeah.
oh no way, we're about to like we score and we're about to get overly confident and start defending. Because like that used to happen in the past. Barcelona would score and then they would be like, okay, we already won the game. So Bayern were definitely pushing, they were pressing. But I think what is the big difference maker is that under Hansi Flick, Barcelona have this high line approach, and it's that
Mhm.
offside trap that like I feel like has helped them out in like both games this week.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but it definitely gave me some
The
little heart
memes.
attacks, honestly, because there was
There's
a lot of chances where Bayern did get through us. There were offsides multiple times, but there were some chances where they did get through. I think Harry Kane got through like once, and he unfortunately messed up his touch and everything. But they did end up tying it back with a goal from Harry Kane. But from there, I think we just started waking up, and then boom, we started going right at them and playing our game.
Yeah, I definitely think like the different like for like in the second half when we saw like Olmo and like Frankie come on, it
Hmm.
kind of changed the game because it changes the way Pedri was playing because before he was more defensively minded, like being in a double pivot with Casado. But
Yeah.
then when Pedri was able to play a more advanced role, it just was game over for Bayern because then you have Lamine, you have Pedri linking up, and it was just too much. I feel like it overloaded too much of their defense.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. What are your thoughts so far about Rafinha?
Oh, I love Rafinha. I won't lie, like Araujo is like my favorite player in Barcelona, but since he's currently injured, Rafinha has become my favorite. I love his work rate. I've always said that Rafinha has a good work rate. He tries hard and he has good moments, but it was the consistency that was lacking. And
Yeah.
this season, he's just been consistent, either scoring or assisting in almost every single game.
Yeah.
And like the fact that he said after the Bayern game, "Oh, like this is not even the best version of myself." I'm just so excited to see like how much more he could go.
Yeah, me too. I'm very excited. I think one player from last season that also was struggling a bit, and a lot of us were kind of doubting was Robert Lewandowski. How do you feel about him?
You know what? I feel like it was fair for Barca fans to be questioning like whether it was time for him to like move on or whatever the case is. Just because when you're at the age of like your mid 30s already, um, I feel like players start to decline. Like 1 month you're fine, and the next month that's it. Like it's just that's the way your body starts working. But
Yeah.
I do think we have to realize that under Xavi, and this is not to be hateful towards Xavi, under Xavi, Lewandowski was his had to play more deeper, and I feel like he at times had to be the one responsible for creating opportunities for himself. Whereas under, Hansi Flick, he definitely has now more freedom. Aside from that, he could just position himself and just needs to finish off the opportunity, so it plays more towards his strengths.
Yeah, 100%. Because I remember a lot of times with my friends, every time we would watch the games, because Lewa came out a lot of times in interviews saying that they're not feeding me, they're not giving me the ball in the box, they're not providing a lot of chances for me, and we were kind of getting upset because we were like, you're not making the runs into the box, you're not in there, you're not like a proper striker. But then later on, we can see that Xavi was giving him a lot of instructions to drop deep, to try to help his play from the back by him dropping deep, trying to collect the ball, but which really isn't much of his game. He can do it a couple times, but not too much.
Yeah, I don't think you could blame Xavi for that because that's the style of play that he thinks is best for the team. But it's just
Yeah.
the fact that Hansi Flick already knows Lewandowski from the Bayern days, so he just
Mhm.
knows what works for him and what worked for Lewandowski that made him like one of the best players in the world in 2020. Personally, the best in my opinion.
Exactly. Yeah, because he should have won the Ballon d'Or that season under Flick.
He did.
Unfortunately, over COVID and everything, they didn't give it to him. But
I think we all
um,
agree that he won it in 2020 though. Whether
yeah,
he
yeah,
has
yeah.
it or not,
As
he's the
fans,
Ballon
we
d'Or winner.
100% agree that he won it. So hopefully they give it to him. He can present it at the Camp Nou when they open it. But I doubt it because Messi
Yeah.
himself said they should give him a trophy. But
Everyone,
I
like,
don't
I
know.
didn't understand the point of that. They literally could have just like mailed it to him or given it to him in 2021. No, they decided
Exactly.
against it.
Yeah, it was weird, but yeah. So I think one thing that made us happy as Barca fans, especially like obviously getting over the hump of having this, I guess, curse or whatever you want to call it against Bayern that we couldn't beat them for a long time. Like we didn't score on them for the last 4 or 5 encounters that we played them. It was, difficult. One thing that really like made me happy was seeing those pictures of Muller in the bench, just like looking sad and everything. Like,
Oh, the memes. Oh my God. There were so many memes going around, and there's memes, a lot of them today as well. I don't know. I don't like seeing players upset, even though I know Muller has his own jokes and stuff. But
yeah.
it was just nice because like it took me back to 2020 where there was like this photo of Araujo, his whole villain arc story where he's like
Mm,
sitting on the bench on the sidelines
Oh
and he's
yes,
like
yes.
like this. It
yeah.
reminded me of that a little bit.
Oh yeah, nah, I remember that. I
The,
remember
the
that.
fans are too quick with it nowadays. They're too quick.
Too quick. I haven't checked Twitter at all today. I haven't seen anything so far.
I've
So,
heard there's like so many offside memes right now.
oh God.
There's so many,
I
but I
can
haven't
definitely
really
sure
looked.
there's definitely something on
Um,
Mendy and Vasquez or
no,
Mbappe because
somebody said Mbappe's 007, 0 goals, 0 assists, 7 offsides.
oh
That's clever. That's clever though.
it's true though. He was offside a lot of times that game. So yeah, that was awesome to see. So again, 4-1 win against Bayern, a great win, and Honestly, very deserved. Who would you say that was your man of the match besides Rafinha?
Oh,
Besides Rafinha.
that's so difficult because Rafinha was like
Yeah,
it
because
for
he was
me.
the man of the match that game.
I don't even know. Um, maybe like Lamine or Pedri. I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah.
Pe
I said Pedri. I said
Yeah,
Pedri.
Pedri has been so good lately, like because he has the consistency of playing, which is great to see finally.
Yeah, yeah. I've come out with multiple clips and I've been destroyed in the comments multiple times saying that Pedri, for me, is the best midfielder in the world. Obviously, a lot of people say other players because of what they've achieved, and Pedri hasn't really played a full season a lot of times, so I can understand that argument. But for me, he's unbelievable as a midfielder.
Yeah, I think people forget that Pedri is like 21 right now. He'll be 22 soon, but he's
Yeah.
only 21 years old. Like he's still so young. I think we because Pedri started playing for Barcelona when he was 17. Like he was turning
hmm
18, he was 17. So like that's why we think that he's much older, but he isn't. He's still considered a youngster.
Yeah, for sure,
Yeah.
100%. And we caught him. We got him from for a steal too. We got him for so cheap. Like we didn't have to
I
pay
know.
100 mil like Bellingham. We were smart with our finances, but at that time. But now, yeah, all right, yeah,
Smart for a little bit.
yeah,
For
for
a
a
little
little
bit.
bit, for a little while. So yeah, so obviously that gave us a lot of confidence for that champ. We 100% needed that win because after the Monaco loss, so we needed to secure the 3 points. Um, unfortunately, we did concede, but I guess that doesn't really matter. The thing is that we won, especially in front of our fans. Got our friends to get excited for the weekend game against Real Madrid.
It's
Real
a great day.
Madrid's
It's a great day.
amazing day. That was something that was something for sure I wasn't expecting. 4-0 win is crazy.
You know what? I again, like going into that game, I was like, this is at the Bernabeu. Like, I don't know. We have a lot of youngsters and they're great, and I have full trust in them. But especially how the game started, I was like, they look very nervy. I
Yeah,
was like, I'm like, I know Real Madrid's gonna come back in the second half. That's kind of the pattern that they had. I was like, we have to score our opportunities, but I'm
mhm.
so happy that did not happen and Barcelona actually took control of the game.
Yeah, for sure. Even against Bayern when we were 4-1 up, I still had like a lot because we were 4-1 up early. Like there were still like 20, 25 minutes left in the game where we were 4-1 up. Even during that time, I was still nervous because I don't know. I think I just have PTSD with Barca. Like they
You know,
just give me so much. Sometimes I just feel like something's gonna happen, but
yeah,
they
you know what it
didn't.
was? I was like, oh my God, we're only up by 3 goals. I need more goals because I was like, if Real
Exactly.
Madrid score one more goal, I was like, if they score a goal, like I know that they could score like another 3 goals in like 7 minutes. We've seen it happen before. I was like, they just can't defend the whole game. They need to continue pressing and go for more goals.
Yeah, 100%. But I think we were all expecting for sure the same lineup as we've been playing so far this season with
Yeah.
obviously Naki Peña in goal because Ter Stegen is out injured. Um, what do you think about that? Do you think that we should trust Naki Peña or
You
well, I don't
know,
know. Did you expect Chesney to come in by now?
I did expect Szczesny to come in, and this is not meant to be hate towards Iñaki Peña. He had an incredible game today. Like, honestly, I apologize for ever doubting him because he played so well. But I do feel like sometimes Iñaki Peña does scare me. He goes outside the
Oh,
box and then he
Yes.
punches the ball instead of like trying to catch it. And like, that's fine. That's his style of play. But sometimes he makes me so anxious. I can't even watch him on the ball because
exactly.
it's too
Yeah,
much.
I know what you're saying there because even when he comes out like from his box trying like cause there were moments even in the game where Mbappe got through and he would just come out of his box running to clear the ball and I was like, "Oh my God, bro."
It worked today. I give him that.
Yeah.
He has good confidence. Like I don't know where this all this confidence came from. Maybe from Hansi Flick for continuously playing him, even though Szczesny's there. But oh my God, he had a great game. I can't even like.
Yeah.
I'm just so proud of him, honestly.
Yeah, he definitely shocked us for sure for stepping up for a big game like this. Our back four has been exactly the same. Jules Koundé on the right, Alejandro Balde on the left, and our center halves of Inigo Martinez and Kovarci.
Yeah.
What do you think about Inigo Martinez?
I love Inigo Martinez. Honestly, I love everybody in this squad. I'm very biased towards them.
Yeah.
And clearly they're doing well, so I love them even more. But I think Inigo Martinez, like last season, we saw that he has a good bond with a lot of the young players. He has good leadership, which I love. And this season, we're seeing a lot more of that. I think he's definitely key for that offside trap for Hansi
Yeah.
Flick because
hmm
aside from his leadership, I think he does well dealing with like the youngsters that we have there, like Balde and Kubarsi. Um, he's also like very good at like positioning himself. Like he's such a intelligent player, and he's also brilliant with his passing
Yeah,
as well.
sure. 100%. Because as much as he's good, we have another young talent next to him, 17 years old, bro. 17 years old.
There's no way a 17-year-old center back should be playing that way.
How Kubarsi? Like what?
I think we don't realize that, 17 years old, midfielder, forward, fine. Like, I
Yeah.
think we've gotten used to that. Defender, especially center back, defenders take a longer time to develop, and I don't think people realize how rare it is to see somebody at 17 years old playing that way. Sometimes we make people make fun of center backs that are 23 years old and are underperforming, but that's completely normal. Like
Mm.
I don't think people realize that.
100%. Yeah, the expectation so far, because these are just generational talents like Lamine and Kubarsi. These are just talents that the definitely the bar shouldn't be set on them like that. You should expect every 17-year-old or 18-year-old to come out like this. It's very rare. So
Yeah.
that's what makes La Masia so great. And but yeah, these two are just generational talents, and Kubarsi has from last season just impressed. And honestly, like, would you say when Arajo, Christensen come back, who do you think should be dropped between them? Or do you think they should just continue playing and yeah.
I think Christian said maybe more of like a defensive midfielder just because of the center back situation. But I think we also have to understand Kubarsi's 17 years old. He's
Hmm.
playing many games. I think it's best to kind of rotate him and rest him because he's
Yeah.
just, I feel like overplaying, but there's not really a choice at the moment. He's like one of our best center backs right now.
Yeah.
And then Inigo Martinez is obviously on the older side, but like it's also good to rest him as well. He had injury problems last season that we have to keep in mind. And Araujo is
100%.
also injury prone. So I just think it's good for rotations, honestly. I wouldn't really like think too much on it. I think Araujo is going to still need some time to get back because he's been out for a while. But I do think once he's like, 100% back, that it's just going to be more rotations under Hansi Flick, which is exactly what Barcelona need, honestly.
Yeah. I just hope Arajo's taking notes and studying how this back line is doing so far because he's Hansi Flick. I don't think he's gonna really change much until even when he comes back. So you better start looking like how they're doing, how they're setting up, how they're understanding each other because the whole back line has been perfect so far this season.
Yeah.
But Balde, of course, again, another player that came back from a major injury from last season where he didn't play at all because he got a major injury. He came back this season. We were expecting a fresh Balde to the only problem with Balde is the fact that it's hard to give him rest because personally for me, I do not trust Gerard Martin at all. I don't really like him.
I feel like Gerard Martin gets too much hate. I feel like you shouldn't like he's still young. What is he, like 22 years old? Like that's still
Yeah,
young. Like
yeah,
I
yeah,
don't again, defenders, like that's very young for a defender. But I do trust Balde more. I will say Gerard Martin is not the worst defensively. I just feel like sometimes the way he reads the game and his positioning may not always be the best. But when
yeah,
he's in the right space, he does well. I'll give him
yeah.
credit for that.
Yeah, yeah. So he'll definitely come in for those games, like probably those games that are least important, but Bodley will be 100% the top of the top, like for having our left back spot there.
Yeah.
Midfield wise or attack wise, we can all agree Lamine Yamal, Lewandowski, Rafinha, been perfect. There's no problem with them. So what about the midfield, let's say, of Pedri Casado, 100%. I thought they were going to start this game. Who did you expect for that 10 role?
I was expecting Firmino just to reward him for what he did against Bayern, and he played well. But
Hmm.
obviously, I do agree with the tactical change of bringing Frankie in the second half, just because Firmino wasn't able to do what Firmino usually does and like create space for himself and for his teammates.
Yeah,
So this just wasn't his kind of game. I do feel like when Danny Olmo like gets way more minutes, I do see him being the starter because the way he came on, it's as if he never was injured. The way he's able to like spot the passes, break the lines, like create opportunities right away. It's just insane. But then you
yeah.
also have to remember Frankie.
Oh,
It's a
Frank.
headache. It's a headache in that midfield. I'm telling you. I'm kind of
Mm.
happy that
We're
we have
spoiled
this
for
many
choices.
options. I'm happy for it though, because depth. We had last season, all most of our midfielders, aside from like maybe one or two, were injured. So it's
Mm.
good for rotations. We have a lot of young players in that midfield, not to tire them out. It's just good to rotate among them.
Yeah, yeah. I made a little preview video. I was expecting Dani Olmo to start this game just because I feel like he played in a high level, has played in very important matches, so I was expecting him. But again, I had no problem at all, even if Fermin started this game.
Yeah.
So I think the lineup was perfectly set. From Madrid's side, again, they put out the strongest lineup that they could have. Um, so yeah, going into the game, I guess like the first half, it was obviously a tie. No one scored that match. Madrid, I think, was it the first half Madrid scored the offside goal? I forgot now. When
I
Mbappe went like that,
I think it may have been second half.
Yeah,
or
but that
second
was
half.
early second half. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, yeah. So in first half, we caught them offside a lot of times. There were moments where they did get through. Unfortunately, they didn't, take advantage of that. For first half, I could say that we were struggling a bit, trying to go forward, trying to attack, creating chances. So, what do you think about the first half?
Honestly, just nerves. They lack of confidence. Like I can't even explain it. They weren't even passing to one another. They just weren't reading each other whatsoever. Like they were literally passing to the Real Madrid players.
Yeah,
Like,
it was,
I
it
was
was tough.
Yeah, and they just let Real Madrid really push them into their half. And I was so shocked when I saw that Barcelona had most of the possession in the first half because
Yeah, me.
I was like, there's no way that's the
Yeah, me
case.
too. I was like, what? We had more possession than them. Like, it did not feel like that at all.
It did not.
But second half comes in. Frankie, immediate change. Frankie comes in for was it Casado? No, oh my
Put him
God, I
in.
have bad memory. What was it for?
Put him in.
Oh, Fermin, Fermin. Yeah, Fermin came off. Um, and from there, the game just completely changed. We were all over them.
Yeah, it was just because Frankie, I feel like we forget how good Frankie is at creating chances and in the final third because there's like
Mm,
a lot of recency bias. The same thing is happening with Araujo right now where everyone's like, "Oh, Araujo's bad." Like Cubarsí and Martinez are better. Same thing happened last season, the beginning of the season with Frankie. People forget how good Frankie actually is and how he could produce a lot of good opportunities. And I really hope that Barca and Frankie could reach some sort of agreement in terms of like, his wages and everything like that to keep him at
yeah.
Barca.
Yeah, for sure. I like Frankie a lot. A lot of my friends have been telling me that they don't think Frankie will fit in the system, but I think he's a very talented player that he will have no problem filling into Hansi Flick's system. But the thing for me, I've said it also in previous one, is that I don't think Casado can be dropped. Right now, I just don't think he can be dropped.
No, he can't, but he's also 21 years old. And while I don't want to drop him, I just think just good to like rest him once in a
Yeah,
while.
yeah, for sure. He'll get his rest time for sure. But let's see. So we get into the game. Lewandowski gets the first goal, then a second goal, and then a third goal from Lamine, and then a fourth goal from Rafinha.
It's a great day.
I can't believe it. I honestly can't believe it.
You
I just
know,
can't believe it.
I would say one thing with Mbappe. This is not to be hateful towards him, but he was not using his brain in that game because he has the speed. He has the speed to not be in an offside position and to go past our defenders.
Yeah, I
So
was.
I don't know why he was not using his brain at that moment because he literally, I think it was one's off like time it was offside. He literally saw Inigo Martinez, and he
Hmm.
still was in an offside position.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that. That
I
was.
don't, I don't
Because
understand
throughout the
that.
game, Barca has mastered, in my opinion, they have mastered that back line high.
Mm,
They got Mbappe 8 times on offsides. Obviously, I'll say after the third time, that's solely on the player. Like
Yeah,
you
no, I
just
agree.
said, Mbappe, he has the skill. He has definitely has the speed. He was, I think, it being a Classico, he got extremely nervous and was like, "Well, I already made a name for myself in League One with PSG. I'm in the World Cup. Like now, everyone's like, wow." Because at the end of the day, if you go to Barca or Real, that's all eyes are on you,
yeah.
regardless of who you are. So I guess now, definitely in a Classico, he just felt extremely nervous because there was at times where he was just kicking the ball just to kick it, and that
Mm.
ball was just straight on the ground. He was no precision, nothing. He was just scared, and he just had to get it out.
I guess it doesn't help that they were down 4-0 and you could see Vinny already getting frustrated and that just never helps. I know when that happened to Barcelona, the players get frustrated. That was just that the game was already over because you can't
Yeah.
play if in your head you're thinking not about the team but about yourself at that moment. I feel like that's what happens when you get frustrated.
Yeah, I saw one photo where Gavi went like this to him, and I was like, "Let's go, let's go."
Gavi getting a yellow card too.
By if you see like towards the end of the game, I think yes, it was like 85th minute, but if you see Vinicius, he was like already mad. He's like, "No, I'm not even playing." Like he would literally just get the ball, do a little spin, and then like
Mm.
losing. Like, oh, well, okay.
Yeah.
Like
He
even though
also
like yes, at that point of the game it's 4-0, like you still play for one of the two best clubs in the world. You're still a high player that people are literally looking at you. You've come up, and this is a attitude that you're showing.
Mm,
Like pick your
Yeah.
head up. Like at least show that you still like want to win the game.
He
yeah.
also like attempted to do a rainbow flick. His team was losing. I don't think it was the time and
Yeah.
place for
Wow.
that. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes players make really dumb decisions. Like it's not about you being flashy. It's not about any. It's about you helping out your team, doing a rainbow flick, and then that proceeding to lose the ball because it wasn't a really good rainbow flick. Like I just don't get it. I really don't. From like I'm trying to think from like a neutral fan perspective.
As
Mm,
a Real Madrid fan, I could obviously I've not seen Mbappe play a whole lot, but for me personally, today's Classico, I would say that was 100% his fault. In my opinion, he was the only Real Madrid player getting consistently fed this entire game. 8 offsides is a lot. After the second, the third one, then you gotta like put your mind together. Like they're playing a high line, they've mastered it. Easily, you guys have mastered it, and he just keep getting caught, and he's just nervous and cannot. He didn't score today. He couldn't put it back in the net.
it's okay, Carlos. It's okay. I feel you. I feel you. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think Mbappe was out of his head this game, and Vinny kind of too. But again, I'm just happy with the result. 100%.
I mean, I can't complain. It could have been 6-0. Lewandowski should have
Oh,
scored his
oh my
chances.
God, Lil
He
missed
made
so many chances,
Oh my
bro.
God. I was looking at that. I was like, we're only up by two. No, they could score any minute. Real Madrid could literally score any minute. Please score the chances that you have, or they're gonna come to haunt me in my dreams. I'm
Yeah.
just gonna be thinking about that.
Yeah, even in the first half, Lamine had a clear chance too, and he like hit it he tried to like chip the
Yeah.
keeper or something. I'm like, why?
Lamine's decision, I love Lamine, but his decision making in that first half and the beginning of the second half, oh my God. I was like, this is not the Lamine Yamal that we know. There's something he needs to change it in the second half, and he
Mm,
completely woke up, I feel
yeah,
like in the second half, which was great.
yeah, scored a great goal. Scored a great goal. And honestly, we're very happy with the win. 6 points ahead of Madrid right now. I can't believe it. This is what a week. What a week as Barca for Barca fans. But Leo, unfortunately, our like recording thing timer is like running out, so we'll have to like end it right now kind of. But before we end it, I want to ask you really quick.
Yeah.
So you've been supporting Barca for a long time. One of the questions I've asked my friends since we started this Barca talk is why do you support Barca? What made you fall in love with Barca?
Honestly, I think seeing the passion from the players and seeing the passion from the fans really influenced it, and like the style of play, the fact that they trust their academy. I feel like Barcelona is never a team that I think of that buys players and is like a rich team. I think of them honestly just trusting their youth, which is very, I feel like special in a way for the club.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, mine was because of Messi. Messi just made me fall in love
Fair
with the
enough.
club.
Fair
Yeah.
enough. Everyone
Messi
loves Messi.
made me fall in love with the club since a child. But yeah, Leah, it was honestly great talking to you. It's pretty, if you guys can tell, she obviously knows a lot about Barcelona and the team and everything. So we really appreciate your time, and hopefully in the future we can have more chats and hopefully we continue like this season so we can talk a little bit more about Barcelona and how great we're doing this season.
Of course, it was great talking to you guys as well.
All right. Appreciate it, Leah. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.